All right. Good morning, everyone. Almost afternoon here now. Good morning, afternoon. Hi. Thank you so much for your patience in me getting this live podcast out there. We are in the middle of a move, you guys. 17 days until we're moving from Tampa to Virginia, to Richmond. So thank you for all of your patience and grace. My life has quite literally been flipped upside down lately, but all good stuff. And I'm so excited to be here with you guys today. We are talking about something juicy, something that affects every aspect of your business, something that even affects your personal relationships, and that is communication. Communication, which sounds boring on the surface, I know, but communication is really the difference between having long-term loyal clients coming back to you, respecting what you say, happy to pay your prices, and having the opposite of that. So let's go ahead and get into this. So this training is for you today if you have struggled to set boundaries in your business, okay? Now, some of you might be really good at setting the boundary. It's like enforcing it where it gets a little scary, right? We want to just set the boundary and then have nobody ever test us or force us to actually like follow through on having to make them pay, the appointment, like for the lost appointment, all of that stuff. So if you struggle to set and enforce boundaries in your business, this is going to help you a ton. If you tend to react emotionally to situations in your business, this is going to help you so much today. A lot of the reasons why we can be emotional and have responses to things, it's just usually because we don't know another way. When we're winging it, when we're making it up as we go, of course, we are just going to go with like whatever that most intense feeling we have is. And so this is really going to help you like know a different way, know a better way, and possibly discover why some of your communication and some of the situations you've been in with your clients haven't worked out like you wanted them to. Okay. This training is also for you if you want those long-term relationships with your clients, okay? So many of us, we want to keep our clients for 10 years. We see the stylists, I'm sure you see the stylists that are fully booked every time they raise their prices. Their clients don't go anywhere. That is the dream. But what we forget is that long-term relationships are messy and complicated. When we know people for a long time, we're going to fight. We're going to disagree. I'm going to make a mistake that I have to own and apologize for. They're going to make a mistake that they have to own and apologize for. There's going to be awkward moments. There are going to be times of tension. Okay. But knowing how to handle them is the difference between getting to keep these relationships long term, build these bonds that will last you your career, have them sending in friends, have them happy to pay your prices, have them like shouting your name from the rooftops. Like we have to get good at this stuff. And unfortunately, a lot of the time, how we get good at it is by messing it up a lot. And then we reach an age where now we have the wisdom and the patience and the grace to actually handle it in a better way. I don't want you guys to have to learn the hard lessons for 10 years. I want you guys to be able to like hack the communication system and like get there now rather than later. Okay. So here's the thing. Our words, our body language, and our tone can make the difference between connecting us with other people, right? Connection, that's what we're all wanting, understanding, and being defensive and pushing everyone away, right? Obviously, we want the connection. That is what we're going for, is connection over here. But our words, body language, and tone can start isolating us. It can also make people misinterpret us. And I don't know if you guys are anything like me, but being misunderstood and misinterpreted is like, it is probably my number one pet peeve. I can't really even think of like one argument I've had with someone that didn't revolve around feeling like I was being misunderstood and how like how much it hurt me and like offended me and all of this stuff. So it's like, that is on me, because if my communication is clear with my words, my body language, and my tone, there should be no room for miscommunication. And in that case, if I do so well, even if somebody does go there, I can have confidence in knowing that like I showed up and I did the best that I could, right? I want you guys to have that confidence in how to handle these tough situations, etc. So, mastering our words, our body language, and our tone. And also, I think the biggest part with mastering communication is like knowing that there's a big difference between saying words to someone and actually getting them to hear you. And by hear, I mean comprehend what you're saying. Take in the context of the situation, put themselves in your shoes, etc. Like, we are trying to have them hear us so that we can grow a lot closer together. And so today in this training, I'm going to share with you guys a formula that you guys can use and kind of put together and tweak in order to respond to stressful situations in your business. Honestly, this formula, when I can calm myself down enough in my personal relationships to use it, it works really good in those situations too. But that's a lot more tricky with people we like have known forever that we're comfortable with. It's easier to just like blah, 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 for better or worse. Okay, so I'm going to share my communication formula. I am also going to share 3 scripts. Okay, so I'm going to share a redo script, a cancellation script, and what to say when someone asks you for a discount, because not all people who ask for discounts are broke and the wrong client for you. That's just something we say so that we don't have to try sometimes. So it's like, I'm giving you guys a killer script for that. And then lastly, I have a bonus tip for you that is literally going to change the game for your business. And while this next 6 months might be stressful as you're managing these conversations and like really applying these methods, by next year, you're going to have it on lock, because I'm going to give you exactly what to do to basically create your own script guide to go to so that you don't have to keep doing everything from scratch. Okay. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. Let's go ahead and jump into my communication formula. Okay. So our biggest barriers in stressful conversations is kind of like the ego and the emotion of it all, okay? Whether you believe beyond a shadow of a doubt that you've done nothing wrong or not, the other person believes something else, okay? And so a lot of times what we do is we're just like, well, they're wrong. If I can just bullet point all the ways that they're wrong, they won't be mad at me anymore. But if you guys have done that enough times, you understand that doesn't really work. And you might be really frustrated with that. So it's because you're skipping a really important part. And I know that this part is annoying. And I know that this part might even make you have like an emotional feeling when I say it, because maybe someone has never done it for you before. And so you don't even know what that looks like, or it might seem unfair. Okay. But the first part of my 3-part communication formula is that we need to disarm and diffuse the tension. And where the tension comes from when someone has called you and said, I don't like my hair, or I don't want to pay the cancellation fee, that's ridiculous. Where this is coming from, when people are raising their voice and all of that, or using harsh language, it's because they are afraid you won't listen to them, right? So we scream because we want to make sure we're being heard, okay? I'm not saying that's right on their part. I'm talking about how can we handle it. And the best way ever to do this, and I want you guys to experiment with it. You can even be like, Ren, I'm going to prove you wrong. This is crap. But the best thing to do, your first response to anybody wanting a redo, wanting to cancel, reschedule, giving you shit about whatever, is to say, and I really like voice memos. If you're not going to call them, you want to do it over text. I really like voice memos. You could text this if you want to, but the first thing you should say in any situation is, thank you so much for telling me. I cannot imagine how hard it was to approach me and have to tell me this. Like, I know that isn't your ideal situation. Like, of course, it's not my ideal situation, but like, that took a lot of, courage and trust in me to come to me and share that with me. So, thank you so much. This is already going to help the other person calm down immediately, because you have just showed them, I see you and I hear what you're saying and I appreciate you, right off the bat. So their guard is immediately going to relax. Their level of anger or emotion is going to immediately deflate, because it's true. Whether what they say, you think it's a total freaking lie and they are money hungry and coming after you, right? Like all the things we tell ourselves when these things happen. If you can just say, thank you. I know that must have been really hard to do. I know that's not how you wanted to spend your morning. You're going to be off to a great start. Okay. And also, give yourself the same grace. So as we go through this 3-step formula, be sure you start talking to yourself this way, right? It's like, you did a hard thing, and it's okay that it came out really bad because it was hard and uncomfortable and you were worried about hurting someone else, which is a nightmare, by the way. Okay. So that's step 1. We're going to disarm and diffuse the tension. Step number 2 is we are going to offer solutions or restate the boundary. Okay. So as you can see, only after we have disarmed them are we going to even offer a solution or restate a boundary. Now, what I have seen work the best is to give people a few options. Okay. So in terms of a redo, this might sound like, of course you're going to do number 1, but this might sound like, okay, I can't believe this. Like, I'm so sorry you're feeling that way. When can you get here? Like, I definitely want you to come in so that I can see what you're talking about, and get a view of everything like in real life so that we can come up with a plan. Or if you don't want to come in, I totally understand, but I'm not going to be able to honor any refund or any type of, resolution to the situation, because I can only do that if you come in and you allow me the opportunity to, work on what our plan that we had together, right? So there's 2 options. You can come in, get it fixed for free, or potentially get a refund if it's like really, really bad and they hate you, but they need to come in. Or you can not come in, but I'm not paying to fix it and you're not going to get a refund from me. So you have options. Okay. That's a very important part of communicating. People don't like to feel pushed against a corner. None of us do, right? None of us do. So number 1, we're going to disarm and diffuse the tension. Number 2, we are going to offer solutions and restate a boundary, right? So after you give those 2 options, then you might say, this was part of your welcome package that you signed, or this was part of our consultation. We explicitly talked about this. Okay. So then number 3 is we are going to remind them that they have a choice. So this might sound like totally up to you what you want to do. I would love the opportunity to see you in person and see what's up. But it is up to you. And we want to leave it like that. It is up to you. You have a choice of how you want to move forward. And that is the best that you can do, right? Now, they might want to go back and forth. If that's the case, you can also just very politely say, unless you are going to come in, I can only continue this conversation in person. Okay. And I personally, again, I would say all of this would be great over voice memo because what did we talk about in the beginning? Words, body language, and tone. That is like the trifecta of communication. And when we're only texting during stressful situations, which is fine, sometimes it's better to have the space and not have to react right away, like on the phone. Like, look, I'm an, it's supposed to be like this or whatever the kids do. Anyway, so much can be lost in translation on both ends. Okay. So, I'm happy to continue this conversation. You just have to come in. Can you do this time or this time? Okay. So that's the 3-step formula. That alone can get you through so many situations. Okay. And I hope that you can see how simple it is. Like, I know it sounds complicated when I first spell it out, but it's actually something that is really simple to go for. And like I said, if you want to use this with your family, if you want to use this with your spouse, like go for it because it really does make a huge difference. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the 3 scripts that I'm going to share with you guys. So we have a redo, a cancellation, and then a discount script, okay? So for a redo, and what I'm looking at here is my own stylist script guide. So this has everything from, scripts to get new clients, turn followers into booked appointments, to those stressful situations. It even has in it like your clients who never change their hair and never want to do anything different. Like, how can you get them to try something new? I have a bunch of scripts for that. So this is really fun. I'm going to have this for you. It's my stylist scripts guide down in the show notes once this is posted. And this is only $17 for, if you want all 11 of my little kits like this, that is only $33. So up to you guys. Both links are down in the show notes. But okay, so let's talk about a redo. Now, how I outline these scripts in this book is I basically highlight in each section keywords to know. Okay, so keywords to know, and then the goal. And I think that knowing the goal is such a way to ground ourselves into something bigger than our emotional response. Because look, if somebody has any negative feedback to give us, it's going to hurt our feelings, right? We're only human beings. And I would argue that hairstylists are some of the most like loving, tenderhearted, people-pleasing people that exist in the world. So like, it's really hard when we get that negative feedback. And I'm not taking anything away from that, but grounding ourselves in the goal is going to help us so much. So the keywords for a redo are going to be thank you so much. And I absolutely hear you, right? Disarming and diffusing the tension. The goal is to diffuse the situation and resolve it without having to refund money or lose the client, right? That's the dream goal. Now, some clients are just too emotional and out of control that like, it's not going to work. Like some cases really are like a lost cause, but I would say like 99% of them, you can get through this unscathed with a stronger relationship. Okay. So just like I said earlier, first name, I can only imagine how hard it was for you to reach out. It's never easy to share things like this. And I want you to know that my goal always is for you to leave happy and with what you asked for. I prefer you come in so that I can take a look. Would 15 minutes on Wednesday or Thursday work better for you? Done. That's so easy. That's not a you said, I told you, blah, 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 blah. You guys, that actually makes the anxiety worse. Okay. Like going into all of that on your keyboard actually makes you feel worse. I swear. Send them this. They really can't say anything else, right? They can't. Again, if they're pushing back and forth, the follow-up to that would be, I can only continue this conversation if you're willing to come in. When can you come in? And like, that's it. When they do come in, some good follow-up questions would be, oh my gosh, you were so happy when you left. Help me understand what changed between then and now, right? Like, what changed. And the answer could be something we think is really silly, like, well, when I saw it in the car, it looked different than how I saw it in here. It actually looked more yellow or whatever. Easy fix for you. That doesn't have to be a, well, you loved it here, so get out of here. I don't care how it looks in your car. It's like, okay, cool. It's warmer than you thought. It has more yellow than you thought. Awesome. This is like a 15-minute fix for you. I'll even throw in a blowout. How does that sound? Easy, right, you guys? We don't have to make this so hard. Another question could be, do you remember us talking about how it would take multiple visits to get you to where you want to go, right? A yes or no question. So obviously they're going to remember. They're going to say, well, yeah, but I didn't know, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, well, this is part of the process. I can tone it down a little bit or throw in another highlight in the front to make you more comfortable. But this is just part of the process. I swear by your next visit, you're going to start to feel better, right? And then lastly is, do you remember about us talking about how you have to put in some effort to style it in order for it to lay right? Show me here. Here's my blow dryer. Here's my blow dry brush. Here's my curling iron. Here's my flat iron. Show me how you styled it at home this morning so that I can show you exactly like where you're getting mixed up and it can look perfect, right? Easy, you guys. Easy, professional. We're not making them feel bad or dumb or stupid. We are just getting to the point. You never have to go into a you said, nah, 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 okay? So that is redos. So then let's talk about cancellations now. Okay, so the purpose with cancellations is to be kind and professional while enforcing our boundary. So to keep a strong relationship with our client and avoid miscommunication. Would you guys agree that that is our goal? The goal is never like to get the money I'm owed or to teach my client a lesson, right? The goal is enforce my boundaries in a way where I can keep a strong relationship with my client and there's no miscommunication. Like, great. I think that's very positive for everybody. So here's an example. Thank you so much for letting me know. Essentially, they're texting you and saying, I have to cancel my appointment. Thank you so much for letting me know. I know life can be unpredictable. If you do cancel your appointment, I will have to charge you, however much percent of your original service. This will be held as a deposit to use towards your next visit. My next availability is on, I have openings Tuesday or Thursday. Which day works better for you? So we're redirecting them. We are diffusing the tension. We are restating the boundary, and then we are giving them immediate options. Do you want Tuesday or Thursday? You're going to be charged a deposit, but I'll apply it to your appointment. If you book an appointment with me right now, Tuesday or Thursday, right? We're not even giving them the option. We're not just saying, if you do cancel, I'm going to have to charge you 20% of your service. And then waiting for them to respond. No, they're going to be, emotional, whatever, excuses, blah, blah, blah. We are literally having full control and redirecting it for them to focus on when can you get in, Tuesday or Thursday, right? Which day works better for you? Which time works better for you? Whatever that looks like. Okay, so that's cancellations. And then the last one I want to share with you guys today before I give you my bonus tip is when someone asks for a discount, okay? And discount shoppers get a big, bad reputation. And I totally understand why. A lot of it is valid and warranted. However, the wealthiest people in the world regularly ask for discounts because that's how they save their money. People want to just feel like they didn't miss out on something. They didn't miss out on a special that was going on. They just want to ask, okay? So we don't need to take it so personal all the time. So let's say one of your clients in the chair asks you for a discount or someone who's about to book with you or whatever. This is what I would say, okay? Oh, love that question, right? Disarming and diffusing the tension. I'm not running any specials right now, but you can absolutely earn up to $100 off of your next visit with me by sending in your friends and family. You get $20 off for each person that comes in. It is a amazing way for you to save money and even get free appointments throughout the year. Easy. We didn't make them feel bad for asking. We didn't judge them like they're really poor and can't afford to be there, which is none of our business. We just gave them a real life solution that would help us grow our business. It's a win-win for everybody, okay? So I hope that those scripts were really helpful. And so now it's time for the bonus tip, okay? So like I said at the beginning, we are constantly forcing ourselves to start from scratch and wing everything. And that alone is super exhausting. Okay. Like I would argue that the first year, especially of any business that you have, is so exhausting because you are making up your policies, you're making up everything, how you're going to respond to this, how you're going to do this, like you are building it, right? It is so hard. And we, like so many hairstylists, we just continue to do that, right? We just continue to do that same thing year after year after year, always winging it and then wondering why we feel so burnt out and frustrated. So my bonus tip is to start your own script guide. So that is a fancy way of saying open a note in your phone, okay? And when you have these situations, whether it's asking somebody to rebook their next appointment and they respond really positively to you about it, write down what you said in that note on your phone. When you text a client you haven't seen in a long time to come in and it works and they book the appointment and you're so excited, copy what you said and put it in a note on your phone. Same thing, cancellations, redo, someone asked for a discount, whatever situations pop up in your business, when it goes well, pay attention. Usually, how the mind works, for better or worse, is we focus on the bad situations and the times it goes wrong, and we almost like overemphasize them in our brain. I want to help train you to the times it goes right and then repeating that over and over again. It's the same thing when I'm talking to people about Instagram or getting followers or booking clients from their Instagram page. It's like a lot of times we do it right and it works flawlessly. And we're like, oh, that was a fluke. That was amazing. And it's like, no, that wasn't a fluke. What exactly did you do? Let's write it all down so that you can do it again tomorrow. Like we need to be especially attuned to those things that go right in our business so that we can continue to do them. We can replicate it over and over. Because if we cannot replicate the success that we get, we're exhausted. We're exhausted running on the hamster wheel, always doggy paddling to try to keep our head above water, right? No, you have successfully conquered so many situations already in your business, in your career behind the chair. I guarantee you that you already have some of these answers inside of you, some of these things that have already worked. Sometimes we just get so scarred by the one time that it didn't that we don't even take the time to remember when it did and lean on our own experience and understanding. So I highly encourage you to make your own script guide. And like I said, in the meantime, while you're building your own, because in my script guide, I have tons of blank pages for you to add in your own scripts that are working for you. But in the meantime, you can, of course, lean on people who have been there and done that. Don't go through a decade of miserable experiences to learn your lessons. Like, start paving your way sooner rather than later. And it will all be like such a more enjoyable ride for you. No matter what, being a business owner is excruciatingly challenging. It is personal development on steroids. It is us holding ourselves to the highest of expectations, higher than the average person holds themselves to. Like, you are doing something incredibly hard. And I say that just to say that, like, I see you. And if you're having a hard time, it's like, yeah, because it's really hard and that's okay. And hopefully, by showing up to these free trainings, by, grabbing resources if you want them and need them, you're going to be able to make it easier and easier. You're going to have new problem after new problem instead of struggling with enforcing your boundaries today and 6 months from now and 2 years from now. Like, that's ultimately the nightmare. We want to have new problems in the future, not the same old problems. So I really hope this has been helpful for you. And as you guys know, listening and learning is just the first step. The most important thing you can do next is actually implement it. Actually do one thing today that you learned and put yourself out there, set yourself up for success. Start trying different things to get different results. So I love you all so much. Thank you for showing up for yourself. And I will see you all very, very soon. Bye.